While we're all stuck at home and some of the things in my fridge may or may not have to be used sooner than others, and one of those things is this Ota tofu that I picked up locally from here in Portland. We're gonna make some nacho cheese with tofu. I don't know if this is gonna work. For this, we're gonna need a little bit of soft or silken tofu. This is super important. It's going to make this dish happen. Just ignore the expiration date. It'll probably be fine. We're not going to need any of the liquid that the tofu sits in, so go ahead and get rid of that. But take a look at this jiggle. That is just, it's so cool looking. This is what silken or soft tofu looks like. It pulls apart very easily. It crumbles very easily. Go ahead and cut this up or just mash it up with your hands a little bit and dump this into a decent sized pot. Once you have everything cut up and in your pot, hit this with a good pinch of salt and a good cracking of black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper on this. We're also going to add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and the secret ingredient, chemical X. This is nutritional yeast, and that's going to give it that nutty flavor. We're going to use 3 full tablespoons worth of nutritional yeast. We're also going to hit it with 1/2 cup of water to get this started. We're going to bring this over to the stove and get this over a medium heat. You don't really want to heat this up too hard because that tofu can burn very quickly. We're also going to mash this up with a whisk or a potato masher or a fork, whatever you really have, and it's going to make this really ugly, lumpy looking, baby food looking stuff, but we're going to bring this up to a simmer and use our jazz hand spirit fingers to make this happen. I don't know why I do this on camera. I don't know. Here's a bird. As it has started to simmer for about 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to take what am I doing? We're going to take the stick blender and blend this thing up. You can also use a regular blender like a Vitamixer or whatever you have, but I like using the stick blender just because it allows me to make more of a mess. Make sure you get yourself cleaned up, and then we're going to go ahead and just use a different pot. This is going to allow the liquid to be a little bit higher, so when we go to keep blending this thing, it doesn't have that accident again. But we do want to blend this until it is completely smooth. This is going to be super important so you don't have a weird chunky sauce. Give this a taste, and at this point you're going to want to re-season it. We're going to re-season this a couple of times. It needs definitely a little bit more salt, so I'm going to add another teaspoon worth of salt and another tablespoon worth of soy sauce, followed by a tablespoon worth of nutritional yeast and another crack of black pepper. You can season this however you want, but I just make sure that I whisk sauce everywhere. Now you can't really see it here, but the sauce is still chunky because the tofu starts to separate itself, and we have to fix that. Now to fix that, we do have to use another secret ingredient, and that is tapioca starch or tapioca flour. For this, we're going to bust out about 1/2 cup worth of tapioca starch with a 1/4 cup worth of tapioca flour. We're going to make this into somewhat of a slurry. You just want to make sure it's completely combined and completely mixed together. Now, you don't want to pour the tapioca starch directly into your sauce while it's scalding hot because I had that mistake happen with some boba, so we're going to let that cool down for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to slowly puree our tapioca starch with our sauce. Just get all of it in there and start blending this until it's completely combined. You want to blend this for a couple of minutes. Now we do have to reheat this over the stove to get all that tapioca starch activated and get it nice and thick, boy. As you start to heat up this tapioca starch and sauce mixture, you will see it to start to thicken up really, really nicely. Mine ended up being a little bit too thick, but what I can do is add a touch more water to it and kind of do this back and forth until I have the right consistency for my sauce. I mean, at this point, it looks gorgeous. I think we're good to go. If you were to tell me that this wasn't melted cheese, I don't know if I'd believe you. It's like that stuff you find at, the little 7-Eleven okay. The mouthfeel is nice. It tastes like melted Parmesan cheese, which I didn't expect. A little more salt, a little more pepper. Hit it with whatever spices you want at this point. We gotta make us a plate of nachos. So after re-seasoning it and bringing it back together, we're ready to make our plate of nachos. For this, grab your second favorite plate and your favorite tortilla chips. I love this Juanita's brand. They're delicious and really tender. Go ahead and load up as many chips as you want. And then we're also going to use a little bit of this extra pulled pork jackfruit. So this thing will be completely vegan. While you're nuking your jackfruit or however you're heating up, go ahead and drizzle on as much of that fancy cheese sauce as you want on top of your nachos. Then hit it with your pile of jackfruit, a little bit of greens just to, say we put them on there. And finally, we're going to hit this with a touch of green onion because I love green onions on my nachos. And of course, you need the coup de grace, a little slice of lime, and there it is, our vegan nachos made with tofu, nacho cheese, and jackfruit pulled pork. That is just, it's so weird. There it is, guys. You know what? I'm not going to apologize for what's in my beard right now. I tasted it. I tried it. It's delicious. And I also don't have a monitor for my camera. Pretty quick and painless vegan nachos. Now, we did use some of the jackfruit pulled pork that we made for a previous video just so that way it almost looks like there is pulled pork on the nachos. I mean, it smells super fresh. It smells really tart from all of the citrus and stuff that is in the jackfruit. Plus, you know, a little bit of fresh cabbage, a little bit of lime, a little bit of green onion. You gotta have a little bit of fix-in on your nachos. Let's just not get this all over me. I mean, look at the gooiness. Yo, that's really good. It tastes like melted Parmesan more than like a cheddar from that nutritional yeast. God damn, that's good. Wow. Hold up, let's get with the jackfruit. Look at that guy. That's the good. So good. Have you ever made vegan nacho cheese before? Let me know in the comments down below, or if you're even just willing to try it. It's actually really tasty. My name is Chef PK. I hope I taught you something today. Get subscribed, and remember, keep playing with your food, because then you make weird stuff like this. I tell you guys that all the time. I don't know if all y'all listen.
When I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day.